If you've watched dozens of gardening videos, you've read the books, you've bought the seeds, and you still don't have a productive garden, then this video is for you. And I want to start by telling you that it's not your fault. The information overload is real, and it can be a paralyzing problem that keeps people from actually having productive growing spaces. You're looking online, you're Googling, you're watching videos. One resource says that you need to till. One says that you shouldn't. One says that you need raised beds. Another one that says that you shouldn't. You're paralyzed not because you don't have any knowledge, but because you have too much of it and no actual real framework to apply it in and have success with. And I'm here to tell you that you do not need years of experience and trial and error to be a successful gardener. You do not need endless amounts of free time. You can do this on a full-time job. You don't need acres. This is a 40 by 40 foot garden space, a fraction of the size of an American sized lawn, and you can have a productive garden on an even smaller size space. All that you need is the willingness, the time outside of your work schedule, and the space that you have right now to start with and experiment with growing. And if you want to go from just watching videos to actually creating an abundant food system in your yard that actually creates food security for your family, feeding yourself the healthiest possible food, and you can ground yourself in knowing that you're doing that and contributing to the environment, click the first link below and join the Radical Gardening community for entirely free to take your first steps in learning the systems with other people how to do this. What actually produces a food system, aka a garden that could feed your family and inspire people around you and share with your children in your community how to actually grow food, is not more information. It is a clear system, a process that you can follow in order to actually take all this information and make it something incredibly successful. And that process is very simple. It's what I'm going to outline exactly for you in this video, so you can take that and you can see this is exactly what I need to do. And so that process starts with design. And I'll just outline it for you simply right here, and then we'll go a little bit more into detail into each. But it's design, setting up the garden right with the clarity and understanding of all the elements that you're going to include and why. Then you're going to be creating the garden, right? So building the garden, setting up the systems, installing the garden correctly. So you have design, create, you have grow. Then you're going to be growing the actual crops, establishing your annual succession planting, companion planting, diversity. Then you're getting into stewarding the garden long-term, understanding long-term soil fertility systems, soil health, being able to scale the garden over time and share that skill with other people in your community, share food with other people in your community. And then that system is on a repeat cycle. That is the process that you can take on. Design, create, grow, steward, and then you're rooting down into your landscape and actually creating a resilient food system that you're going to be able to use to feed yourself and inspire other people around you to do the same thing. And I want to highlight how important it is to actually go in those steps in that specific order. When you design the garden right, you're setting yourself up with the right foundation, so you're not spending years of trial and error, wasting time and money and energy, understanding your goals and all the elements that you're going to be putting into the system, and then creating the garden based off of the right strategies to create less weed pressure and more soil health and just overall abundance in the system based off of your context. And then when you're growing these plants, you're going to want to incorporate succession and diverse plantings and planting all at the right timing, and then looking at the garden as a holistic ecosystem when you're moving into stewardship, so you can understand pest management and disease management and seed saving and really getting a holistic understanding of a strategy for garden health. And maybe you're thinking by now, Johnny, I've tried before and I failed, or I don't know how to even start. And I want to share with you that this garden that I'm standing in right now is my living proof. I had to move out of my last garden space that I built last year and grew all of my own seasonal produce in, right? And then I set up this entire new garden. We are 4 months, almost 5 months in to this garden project, and this is what it looks like, right? I created an entire food system in just 4 months on my free time. This is outside of me working a full-time job and also managing a life. So this garden is currently producing all of my seasonal vegetable food needs, right? Like I'm not going to the grocery store and buying vegetables. I have a surplus I'm sharing with my friends. And all of that is through processing and following this specific framework. And I've learned this over decades of studying, mentoring under other people, and going through trial and error. But that's why I'm sharing this with you right now completely for free, because I want you to be able to do this in 4 months, right? 5 months, 6 months, one growing season, to set up an entire garden like this. And I've taught other people how to do this. I have shown and replicated this system. It's not just me that is able to set up these systems. I have taught this system to other people. Take Alyssa, for example, who set up a garden entirely from scratch. First year, no idea what she was doing, and actually felt like she could implement the systems and feed her family. I have now taught this same system to dozens of people, and I want you to have this information to be able to follow this step by step so you don't have to make the same mistakes that other people are making and that I even made myself. And so in this process, I want to give you something that is extraordinarily tangible that you can take away from this video and go directly and put it into action. And that is starting in the beginning of the process, right? And this isn't going to the store and buying more seeds or buying a new thing or going out and planting or even starting garden beds. This is not about any of that stuff that most people just jump straight into. We're gonna go and we're gonna get down into the basics, right? So if you're overwhelmed, you don't know where to start, you don't know how to begin, the first step that you're going to take is observation. And I know, oh, maybe that doesn't sound like the most exciting thing. You're not planting, you're not starting seeds. The most crucial thing that I want you to do is to go out into your space and just observe, right? We're gonna start with observation and we're gonna start with setting your goals. Those are the first two steps. And so when you go out and you observe your landscape, go and spend some time in where you think that you want your garden to be, right? And look around and look at how much sunlight it gets. One of the most beginner mistakes is people put their garden in an inaccessible, tucked away spot that's hard to reach, that doesn't get enough sun. So you're gonna wanna observe, where does the sun fall at different times of day? Where's the rain falling? How is the water shedding off of the landscape? And you're gonna wanna just sit and observe. Take a notebook and write some notes down, right? And go through this process of understanding your site before you go and waste a bunch of time and money and energy. Observation is a key skill that actually continues with you for every stage, from all the way from seed to planting to managing to harvesting to cooking your food and preserving it. You're always going to need that skill, and that's what I'm teaching you to develop now, and also understand, what is your goal? Like, what are you actually trying to achieve? Why are you wanting to grow your own food? How much of your own food are you actually trying to grow, and how much time do you have? Because that's going to influence everything that we do in the design process. So start there with those critical steps. After this video, you're going to want to stop watching videos, right, and go outside and take those steps. And if you want to take this to the next level, I have a completely free course and community where this entire process is outlined for you to start. And if you found this video valuable, you are going to absolutely love that community. There's hundreds of other gardeners going through this process of creating abundant food systems in their yards, turning their yards into a space that gives them the healthiest possible food so they can be grounded in that transformation. So under this video, you're going to want to click that link and join the Radical Gardening community for entirely free as of right now. And yeah, take your first steps in starting to continue this momentum and following this process. If you liked all this, go ahead and join that community. And if you want more clarity on this system, more outlines into the system, check out this video where I am outlining all of the elements and key features of this entire garden that you can learn.